Well, it's good to be here. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. So this morning, I thought I would start by telling you all a story. And I wanted to tell you a story about paint nozzles. Yeah, that's right. Fascinating, riveting story about paint nozzles. So, and don't worry, by the time that I'm finished, I believe all of you will be thinking of your own paint nozzle. So, let me get started. So, a few years ago, I was working with a client. This is a multi-billion-dollar company that builds equipment for the largest oil companies in the world. Very, very large client. Very sophisticated, very complicated. I'd been working with this client for many years, and I'd been working with them on doing exactly what Bob was talking about, and that is improving the bottom line, how to find more profitability, more productivity. So we'd been working together for probably 4 or 5 years, and as you can imagine, and all of you in your own companies, you probably all deal with this as well, getting everybody on the same page is often very, very difficult. So we had been working together with I had been working with the CEOs and the senior execs, and we had been working to identify where the problems were. Where was it that they were losing money? Which departments, which products, on and on and on. So one year we were talking, and we would focus on some of the various disciplines within their organization. And they had a lot of different disciplines. They had fabrication, they had paint, they had structural, they had all sorts of things. So every year, year after year, when we would review the company, the paint department would be losing money. And while we would be talking about it, all of these various ideas at the senior level would be discussed. Oh, it's the craft, it's the equipment, whatever the issue would be. And year after year, the solution would be, let's change out the superintendent. Some of the other solutions were more craft. We need more people. So we would add all of these different solutions. It wasn't until we sent in somebody to observe the paint department that we found out what was really going on. And what we found out was that it was the paint nozzles. Every time they would use the paint nozzles, they would clog. And because they would clog, it would cause all of the craft to go and have to clean the paint nozzle. And what would that do, would you imagine? Slow production. So production would be slowed. And not only that, it would cause splatters. And the splatters on the equipment would cause them rework. And for anybody that's ever been in manufacturing, rework can be incredibly expensive. So year after year, this would be the problem. When we looked a little bit deeper into the issue, what we ended up finding out was that the department manager had selected these paint nozzles because they were cheap. His budget depended on it. So he bought the cheapest paint nozzles that he could buy. So, of course, what happens with cheap equipment? It doesn't last. And that's what the root cause of the clogs was all about. So, when we as a group sat down and talked about it, we realized that this single decision by this single department manager was costing this company $3 million a year from their bottom line. One decision cost $3 million every year. So when we brought our findings back to the group of CEOs and senior execs, everybody was blown away. They're like, how could this have happened? How could one person make one decision, and not a very good decision, and how could it be costing us so much money? They were really kind of astounded. But I remember sitting in the meeting and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm not surprised. not surprised at all. Because in company after company that I've been working with, I've been seeing how these individual decisions impact the bottom line. And there are a lot of decisions going on within your company that you are probably not even aware of, that people are making that are impacting your bottom line. And I want you to remember, it's not because your employees don't care. And it's not because they're purposely making poor decisions. I believe it's because they don't have the tools and the information readily available to them to be making intelligent decisions that are directly connected to your profitability. So, how many of you believe you have a paint nozzle within your organization? Right? And again, they don't have to be $3 million paint nozzles, because cumulatively, a series of bad decisions in the people that work for you can add up. So imagine, I would like you all to imagine, if you could tie your business goals, and for I would imagine everybody in the room, your primary business goal is to make money. So if you could tie those decisions, including your own, to the bottom line, it should help the overall profitability of your company. So the idea behind the book and the 9 steps is simple: tying all of the decisions that are made all the way from the bottom of your organization all the way to the top to the idea of making money, and not tied to really anything else. Now, of course, you can't compromise things like safety, you can't compromise things like quality, but tying decisions, information, and employees to your bottom line is what this is all about. So I've spent the last 12 years looking at this issue. And as you know, I wrote a book all about it. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. We'll do a little bit more of a deep dive. So I'm going to cheat a little bit with my notes. So there's 2 things that you need to focus on to make sure that this happens, that the decisions within your organization are tied to your bottom line. First, you need to ensure that you have a culture within your organization that is innovative and open, and encourages ideas and participation from everybody in your organization. When there is only a thin sliver of people that are making decisions within an organization, it ends up being flat and unimpactful. I want you to consider being open to ideas not only from your employees, but from those outside of your organization, your clients, your vendors, your subs. They know your business. They can give you some really good insight as well. The idea behind this is that you, as CEOs and as executives, that you're not sitting in the same room with the same people over and over, recycling the same issues and the same ideas over and over. How many of you have had that happen? It's called the echo chamber. And that can be very, very detrimental to good decision making within an organization. Second thing that you need to do, you need to provide your employees and your managers with a simple and easy to implement process in order to make good decisions. And that's what the book is about. It provides a very straightforward, simple, easy to follow process for both managers and employees. These steps, they encourage interaction, they encourage intelligent decision making, and they also encourage alignment between management and employees. And alignment is very critical. So let me give you the big picture of what it is that I'm talking about, and then we'll do a deep dive when we get into the next section. First step, just pick something that you know needs to be fixed. It's that simple. We all know things within our organization that need to be fixed. The next step, put together the right team to fix it. And that may not be the same people that you traditionally choose. Make sure that you're fixing this thing because it will make you money. Don't fix things that are not going to improve your profitability. It is a waste of time and resources. Look at how you're doing it and look at it with an objective eye. It's very, very difficult within your own organization to be objective. All of us are inherently subjective, and it's very, very difficult to remove yourself from having an opinion. Focus on those issues that impact money. Every decision needs to tie back to, is it going to impact profitability either positively or negatively? Don't go down rabbit holes. Rabbit holes are very, very easy. I can't tell you how many meetings that I've sat in where the execs start with one topic and then all of a sudden we're way off over here. And it might be an engaging and interesting conversation, but it has zero relevance to what it is you're actually trying to accomplish. Develop solutions that are the best solutions relative to making money. And I'm going to get into more detail on this in a minute. Implement those solutions thoughtfully and with discipline. And discipline is the key. Keeping your focus on your return on investment. Keeping your focus on making sure that decisions that are being made are impacting money. And then finally, the 9th step, keep doing this. Make it part of your culture. Continuously look for improvement. Always, always try to improve. Always, always encourage this cycle of discussion, innovation, and decision making. So, how do I know that this works? Why did I bother to write the book? Because that's how we found the paint nozzles. We used the 9 steps to uncover what happened with the paint nozzles. We followed the 9 steps, and that's actually, that project was the genesis of writing the book. It's kind of an aha moment, like, wow, if we methodically and systematically go after this, look at what happened. And so we went after other issues within that same organization. We went after fabrication issues. We went after job laydown issues. We did a number of other projects. And what ended up happening is we continually ratcheted up profitability and the bottom line year after year after year until that particular organization became the #1 division within the entire company. And it was a very, very disciplined approach. So I'm convinced that each and every one of you knows about these steps that I'm going to talk about. There's nothing mind-blowing or new about the individual steps. What is different and what is new is following them methodically and sequentially and maintaining the discipline that it takes for the alignment between management and the employees. That's very, very important. So, I have a question. Have you all thought about your own paint nozzle? Everybody kind of in their own head, okay. So I'd like to challenge each and every one of you to a first step. I want you to answer these 2 questions inside your own head. Don't have to do it out loud. #1, does my company's culture promote an open and transparent exchange of ideas for improvement at every level? Or are the same people identifying the same problems and suggesting the same solutions over and over? #2, do you have a systematic and disciplined process to improve your productivity and profitability? And I believe that the answer to those two questions is your first step towards improving your bottom line. Thank you.